All right, we are live. All right, guys. Todd, Gina, Lauren, thank you so much for taking time to be here. As attendees are rolling in, I just want to kind of give an overview of what this webinar is for. A lot of the things that I have learned, that I've progressed throughout my career, have been from being in rooms like this, being around big thinkers, being around people that have done big things. And events are a huge part of my success journey. And I love going to events. I go to as many as I possibly can. I take valuable time away from my family. I love being a dad. I love being a husband. Take valuable time away from them to learn at these events. Just so crucial to my success and growth. But I know a lot of people aren't in that position. And so I thought it'd be great for us to just do a recap of this amazing event that we all experienced and give them a behind the curtains look, our biggest takeaways of what that event was, so that we can help them experience what we experienced at that event. Did anyone else have like ahas and like a life-changing moment at that event? Amazing, right?
Yeah.
There was probably tears, there was laughing, there was Gina offending Uber drivers. It was a whole
We weren't bringing that up.
Too late.
During this, guys, we're just going to kind of go mastermind style. So this is open forum. If you're attending, please put your questions in the chat. We want this to be interactive. We want to help you answer your questions. If you have a takeaway, you have a perspective, please let us know. We absolutely do want to hear from you. We're doing this for you. And so as we get going, I'm kind of break down a few things from the event. So Build23 was an event that my good friend and business partner, Brent Gove, hosts. He's actually a business partner with all of us, which is amazing to think about. If you really think about it, he's in business with all of us. And he throws these amazing events. And what I love about these events is that it's people telling their personal stories. It's a combination of emotional stories of how this partnership, this alignment, this event, this takeaway has changed that person's life forever. There were stories of people talking about how these opportunities that they were sharing from stage that we're going to break down here today allowed them to buy their mom a home, allowed them to live a life beyond their wildest dreams. There was moments where I think there was 4 different coaches that coached thousands and thousands of agents throughout the industry, sharing their playbooks on coaching so we could have more production. There was a combination of that. There was laughter. There was breaking down on how you build passive income. It was just an enormous event by people that are actually doing big things. And so each of us are kind of going to break down and share our takeaways of what we took away from that event. So hopefully you can take some value from the event like I know each and every one of us did. So with all that being said, who would like to get us started?
Man, where to start?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah, I think
we were all talking prior, and we were all like having a contest who took the most notes because we had so many takeaways. So it's hard to dilute it because there were just so many, but we'll do our best to give the most impactful things.
And I think one of my favorite takeaways, and it started with day one, and actually hit on it in the sales meeting yesterday, was AJ Maida's speech and talking about if things are going to change, we must change. He had so many great takeaways about creating that life around freedom, mindset, financial, time, location, and help visualizing what that new life would look like, and the math behind being able to reach that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think one of the things too, right after him or not long after him, was Lars Hindenburg. And I don't know if I say his name right or not, but he had us in tears as well, as talking about his dad who was an alcoholic, and he could have had so many excuses to go down that route, but yet he made the decision to make those changes to concentrate on, well, his big thing was attitude, effort, and focus. So what you focus on is going to get you to where you want to be. So making that, 3 to 5 year plan, drawing that out, putting it in great details so that when you get to the end of your life, you don't have that regret. So that was one of my big things too, is don't look back and have that regret. And it doesn't matter whether you're 20 or whether you're 50 or 60 years old, start today. Don't look back. Leave the past behind you and start going forward.
Was he the guy that shared, there was someone that shared it in alignment with that, stories of like Colonel Sanders and other like highly successful people that like that just reminds me of like starting late in life. How many people use the excuse of well, I can't do it now. I'm 55 years old. I'm 65 years old. I can't do it now. And all of these successful people that are iconic, that everyone would know their name, that started at age 50 or older, at age 45 or older, before they even started. And so I love that. I think there's a lot of studies. So I follow Ed Mylett pretty closely, and I think it's him that shares some of this, is that how many people get to if you were to interview people that are in nursing homes at the end of their life, and they just know it's like they're waiting for it to be the day, right? Those type of people, and you were to interview them and you were to ask them, what is it they wish they would have done differently in life? None of them talk about that chance that they took, this new business they started, this extra effort they took, and how it made them uncomfortable. They talk about regretting not doing those things. And the thing that goes through their mind is the regret that they have of not trying to achieve more, not trying to become more, and not trying to do more. And I think that's something I think about a lot, is that I don't want to live with regrets. I don't want to have, when I get to that part of my life, I want to have no regrets. I left it all in the field. I put it all out there. And I think if you just think, what would your 90-year-old self sitting in a nursing home, your 100-year-old self in a nursing home think about these actions I'm taking today? I think it really helps you take that action that is uncomfortable for all of us.
Yeah, I think it's to stop comparing yourself, because all you're seeing on social media is the perfect, I'm so perfect. And I know one of the things that Lars showed was his wife's been collecting pictures of him sleeping with his mouth open at different times. And so he threatened her life to not show it on Facebook. But, that's the real world. We're all, Todd took a picture of me the other day, which I could have killed him. I was sleeping, fell asleep down in the chair, and he took a picture of me with my mouth open. I deleted it because he doesn't know how to do that technology-wise. He doesn't know that I deleted it, and then I deleted it from the deleted. So, but it's don't stop comparing yourself, because no one is perfect.
Yeah, I think social media has added to that, right? I think we all struggle getting out of our comfort zone, but social media has absolutely enhanced that, because if you think about most people's social media, what is it? It's the highlight reel of their business, the highlight reel of them being a parent, the highlight reel of their relationship with their spouse, the highlight reel of their business, the highlight reel of their finances. And we think that is their real life. That is stuff that they took 3 hours editing the photo and creating the caption to make you think it's way better than it actually was. Right. And I think that as an example, I have a marketing brain, and I dive deep into marketing and algorithms, and the marketing that works way better now is the real stuff, the unedited, the raw, the authentic, people showing real life and real struggles, because people relate to it. And I think that's really what we have to realize, is that those people that have those highlight reels, they also have struggles too. They just choose not to show you those.
Yeah, the one girl that was there too, that she has a free class coming up that tomorrow, Krista Mayshore. That she showed with one of her teeth being knocked out. Wasn't that her that showed that picture of her that she put on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere, showing the real her? And you would never think, by looking at her, she would have ever in a million years showed that on.
Well, and that goes further, because I've heard her speak before, and she has a very interesting story. We all have challenges. We all have, life happens to us, but she's had some struggles through her life, which made that even more impactful for me personally, because I've heard her actual story and the struggles she's had, and the struggles with her image and her self-worth and the confidence. And for her to be able to stand in front of a stage of thousands of people and talk about that shows the work, and the willingness for her to get uncomfortable is why she's achieved the success that she has.
Yeah. So I have a link, if anyone that's on the call that wants to go to that free training she's putting on tomorrow, that you can still register. So let us know.
Can you drop that in the chat, Gina?
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah,
if you guys want a copy of that, let us know in the chat. Social media training. She's a beast in social media. That she's grown a massive coaching business, and she's giving you the actual playbook for free.
Yeah, I think that's something to say. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Lauren. I've been talking too much. Go ahead.
I think that's something that everyone that went up on stage, they all come from a place of contribution, whether it was coaching tips, whether it was mindset tips. Everyone was there to give away what had worked for them. And just to be in a room full of contributors is different than any other conference that you go to in the past. It's just, it's just different at these conferences that we go to. And I think that's what keeps drawing me personally back to them, is there's so many gold nuggets, so many people who are doing what works. They have different ways. So if you don't like one of the ways, there's plenty of other ways that you can still achieve your dreams, achieve success in ways that work for you.
Love it. Todd, I'd love for you to chime in and kind of share some of your takeaways.
Well, I can't get a word in edgewise between Gina and Lauren there, but
We're gonna have to team up
when you
against
touched
Todd. We can
on
do it.
mindset, I talked about mindset several weeks ago, but all week while we were sitting there and I was taking notes, there were so many things that I related to mindset that were said. And I wrote the word mindset by all of them. And I went back and looked through my notes, and I probably had the word mindset written in 15 to 20 different places, and all different speakers, and all related, back to mindset. And that's kind of what I was going to talk about today. So you led me right into that, but you also talked about contribution. And there were several different people that got up on stage and talked about selling versus contributing, and selling versus serving. And I wanted to encourage everybody to get that mindset. And sometimes it's just a little tweak in your mindset and the way you think about things. If you're making your prospecting calls, you're making your follow-up calls, or you're visiting somebody in person, you just change your mindset to how can I help you? What can I do for you? How can I be of value to you? Instead of, in your mind, you're thinking, how can I make money off of you? If you just switch that mindset, you're talking to them on the phone and you ask them, you may be able to provide them with your preferred vendor list. Ask them if you can provide that to them. It could be your plumbers, your electricians, your painters. Everybody needs those people in their life, and these are the people that you know and trust. And if you can provide that to them, come from a place of value. If you're talking to somebody on the phone that they're just barely getting started in the process and they've not been pre-approved, well, you can offer to send them to a couple of your favorite lenders. And you want to offer service without any what's the right word? Regardless of opportunity, just be of value to people. Offer to include people in your newsletter, in your weekly or market update that you're sending out. If you're talking to somebody and they have no intention whatsoever of ever buying or ever selling, maybe they're going to be a lifelong renter. They lived in the same house forever and they're never going to sell it. But what if there's something that you have that they need? What if they've got a plumbing problem or an electric problem at their house that they've not been able to get solved? What if you can be that person that can connect them with the one service individual that can solve that problem for them? Or do you think they're going to remember that? They're always going to remember that, and they're always going to pass your name along as a person of value to them. If you're calling people, texting, emailing, whatever that is, on some type of a regular basis, whatever campaigns you're putting out there to people, each one of those interactions creates an experience, and it's something that they feel and they remember. And all of these experiences, no matter how brief, they're all cumulative. They all add on top of each other. So I was just thinking, if you treat people like a transaction, they're going to treat you like a transaction. What if instead you treated them like a human being, and you just come to them and lead with service, lead from the heart, lead with a servant's heart. The good news with that is, if you do that and you do it with the right way, with the right heart and the right attitude, they're going to remember that. The bad news is, if you treat them like a transaction, or if you treat them like crap, or you're disrespectful to them, they're going to remember that as well. It could be something as simple as providing that vendor list, or providing a fellow realtor that you know of that's not with the right brokerage group, or maybe you want to offer them an opportunity to create more money or put more money in their pocket. Whatever it is, our job is to help people live a better life, no matter what that looks like. And all those little things can help people live a better life. And it's my firm belief that our job is to make people better for having met us every single time, no matter what the interaction, make them better for having met us. So, I'm talking a long time now, but I'm going to encourage everybody. If we're all in this room talking today because we've been to an event, and we want to share that event and that experience with other people in case it can benefit them. So if you're with the brokerage and they put on events like this, or they put on trainings like this, they put on conferences like this, Matt just mentioned he doesn't miss them. So I'm going to encourage you guys, don't miss an event. You learn things at events. You may have heard them numerous times before, but for some reason you're a different person now. You're growing professionally, you're growing personally, and you hear it differently than you heard it a year ago. You know, Gina and I have already implemented a few things this week that we heard last week. Have we heard those things before? Of course we have. We've heard them for years, but we finally, whatever it is, clicked in our head, and we decided to implement those and make them part of our daily routine. So if you're with the brokerage that does that, fine, get to all those events, do that type of stuff. If you're not with the brokerage that provides these opportunities, I'm going to encourage you to get with the person that invited you to bid on the Zoom today and ask them more questions about EXP. Ask them what they like about EXP. Ask them why they switched from whatever brokerage they were with, and see if it can be a benefit to you. So anyway, I'm done talking.
It's all about helping people, right? I love that message. And Todd, it's crazy how in alignment we are. Is everything in life starts with mindset. Everything in life starts with mindset. And I think I used to say this in my company, and I've switched it recently. And I'm curious your guys' thoughts on it. But I used to say we don't use the word sell in our organization. We use the word help. Anytime that you would think you need to sell someone, replace that word sell with help. How can I help someone buy a home? How can I help someone sell their home? Like, how can I help these people? How can I help this person I'm on the phone with? How can I help this person I talk to in the grocery store? What value can I provide? So help versus sell. But I've recently changed because I think this market requires us to do more than help. And if we truly want to help, and that's our intention, I think it requires us to lead the client through the process. They don't need to be helped, they need to be led. They need someone to be proactive and guide them through the process, guide them through what it is that's missing. And I think that leadership requirement of leading them the right way. I never said be pushy, let me be clear. Help lead them and guide them through the process by helping and providing value. I think if we just help without adding the leadership aspect, we can kind of leave some people behind and not be as proactive as we could. And so I think if we focus on leading our people, leading our clients, leading our buyers, leading our sellers, leading our agents, leading our partners, whatever that looks like, I think that's a huge, huge difference. And I want to add too, to the event thing is I am a product of my environment. Like, I have achieved amazing things in my life literally above and beyond my wildest dreams. I did a mastermind with our team yesterday. It's a 6-figure mastermind that I do. It's a commitment I made to help. I'm committed to having 10 people on my team make $100,000 this year. And so it's a mastermind I host monthly with them. And one of the things that I realized by just having a mastermind with them is that I remember when I was a kid, I looked up to people, and success to me, what I wanted to accomplish, looked like the banker that was in a suit and tie at my basketball games when I was a kid. Right? Like that. I'm like, oh, that guy's successful. He's got to make $100,000 a year. Wow. Come to find out, that's a banker that gets a salary of $40,000 a year and has to wear a suit and tie to work every day and is handcuffed to his job. Right? But that's the image of success that we portrayed as a kid. And I think what happens is we get stuck in that image of what success is and what is actually possible. And I think mindset really helps get in our way. And I think getting at events of seeing these higher caliber people in other areas performing high aspects of their life, showing us what is possible, leading that path, has really elevated me in my success journey, because I live in a small town. We all have limited thinking and wherever we're at. And sometimes you can't see the forest because of the trees. And you have to step back and get above and see it from a bird's eye view and see what the world actually has to offer and what people are doing. And I think, to Todd's point, going to events, getting around other like-minded people has been crucial to my success. And I absolutely love the fact that all of us here today, as an example, we're all business partners. We are in business together. We were at the same event. We're learning together. We're growing together. We're contributing together. And because of it, each and every one of us are going to be better because we all support each other. If you don't have an environment like that, you need one. And if we can be that environment for you, reach out. We're here to help.
I think to go along with that too, is that no matter who you talk to there, whether, they were part of your direct organization or whether they were some other organization within EXP, everyone there was willing to sit down with you, talk, give you their game book. I mean, they were willing to help you. And I think that that's the type of people you need to be around in your life. People who are willing to give, not just want to take. And I've been in those organizations before where it was a take. And this has been a game changer.
And I think this is not a, sorry to interrupt, Lauren, a really quick thought that I had. This is not, I want to be clear. This is not a pitch on EXP. This is to give you value of event. This was a massive takeaway that I had. Someone said this from the stage and I'm like, surely that's not true. I did my research. It's true. EXP is the only brokerage that pays you as an agent at the end of the year. Every other brokerage, you as the agent pay them. Now, does EXP pay everyone? Nope. But it provides the opportunity for you to get paid. And so as an example, I make over 100% of my commissions at this amazing company. And I'm in partnerships and alignment with people like Britt Go, Jeff Williams, Adam Bailey, these amazing humans on the Zoom today that have helped me level up my business. And so I just think that it's worth opening your mind a little bit and say, how much am I paying my brokerage versus how much am my brokerage paying me? Because EXP provides that opportunity.
Yep, great points. To hit on, Todd, what you were saying with mindset and just coming from a place of contribution, I know that you used to be involved in BNI, and something that they do a really good job at is teaching you the giver's gain. And you give with never expecting anything in return. And that's how everyone in these rooms are. They're just simply coming from a place of contribution. They're always willing to have an open mind. They're positive, they're influential, they're contributing anything and everything. And I think that's another thing that makes a difference. You know, there's people who contribute, but they expect something in return. They expect a favor, or they hold that over your head. Where here, it's just simply, we want you to do better than what we could have ever expected. And something Gogo had said was that her reality is better than her wildest dreams. And so Matt, whenever you were hitting on your little thing, it's like your reality is bigger than what you've ever dreamed as a child. And to see that this environment that we're a part of created that it's amazing.
I love it.
Lauren, you mentioned BNI. I'm in a networking group similar to that. We had our meeting today. We meet every Wednesday. And you have, if you're not familiar with BNI or any type of networking group, you usually have a minute or 30 seconds to stand up and tell people about your business, what a good referral is for you. Ironically, today I stood up in the meeting and I didn't say anything about real estate. I shared with everybody as much as I could in that minute what Gary Brecka shared with us about health, because I thought that was important. Everybody in my group is into health and fitness, and I know some of them have some challenges, and I thought that was important, and I encourage them all. I'm going to encourage everybody listening here, if you've never heard of Gary Brecka, go look him up on YouTube. He's amazing, and he's got some very good insights as to your health and what's going on in our world, in the medical world. But yeah, it was just about giving back, Lauren. That's really what we all do. That's why we're all here today.
100%. I love it. Who else has some intakes that you guys would like to share? Oh, look what I found. I'm going to share it in the group. I found Gary Brecka's speech from Build23. I'm going to share it in the comments. Only if we have people in the chat that say they want it. If you put in the chat that you want it, I'll share it. If not, I'll keep it to myself.
I did want a favor.
Yeah, if you don't put in the chat you want it, you're missing out.
Man, there were so many good ones. I think Gene Frederick was the one that talked about, it doesn't matter what age you are. He hit on Colonel Sanders and he hit on Julia Childs, and his exercise of walking you through where do you want to be in your life and visualizing that. I think you could hear a pin drop in the room. It was just so incredible to see everyone in that room is a big dreamer. Nothing is impossible in that room. And so to have all of these people, around mindset are very similar. You have AJ Maida, who does the vision board, Mike Sherrard, Gene Frederick, all of those guys had these big dreams and aspirations. And Mike Sherrard, I think, accomplished everything before he was even 30. And it's incredible. And so that's one of my biggest takeaways. And I've been doing this for about 1.5 to 2 years now, is being as detailed as possible with my vision list. I probably have 150 things on there. I can tell you what I want my dream house to look like. I can tell you every location where I want to have an investment property. And I've done the math behind those things as well. And I think it's a life changer right there.
I love it. There's so much I want to unpack here. So I'll try not to, please interrupt me if I'm over talking, but there's so much I want to unpack. I did a speech on this recently to our team too, and I think it's just relevant on my mind. It's so crucial. Like we're a little bit past midway of the year. How many real estate agents are where they want to be in the business? They're actually on track for their goals. We got one. Out of the 2 million real estate agents, what percentage of them do you think are on track for their actual, if they even set goals, they're actually on track for their goals for the year? I would say less than 10%. Would you guys agree?
10 to 20.
Oh, easily.
Here's the problem with goals. We don't achieve our goals. We achieve our standards. What standards do you have set in your life that are non-negotiable? There's a difference, and a goal is a good idea, but a standard is this is going to happen no matter what. A goal, sometimes we set goals that are out of our control. Make sure your standards are in your control, because you can only control what you can control. But when you control the controllables in your life, you remain disciplined, you remain consistent, and you own your own outcomes, and you accomplish your standards that you set for yourself in your life, you can achieve anything that you want. So if you're not where you want to be in your real estate business, it's okay. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off. Today's a new day. Set those standards of what you know you need to accomplish, and accomplish it each and every day. You cannot, too many people overestimate what they can accomplish in a day. They think, and that's why we procrastinate. Is anyone else guilty of procrastinating here? Mm-hmm. We're humans, right? We all procrastinate. Why do we procrastinate? Here's the psychology of why we procrastinate, because we think, oh, I can do that tomorrow. But then what about your to-do list you had tomorrow? Now you got 2 days of work in one. And then it becomes overwhelming, and it stacks and it compounds, and it becomes overwhelming. And then what happens when we get overwhelmed as human beings? Panic, freeze, shut down, 100%. The problem is in what you are doing in your standards today. Quit thinking about what I can accomplish tomorrow. What do I need to accomplish today? Make sure it's accomplishable, it's in my control, and keep your commitments to yourself. You win the day today. You win the day tomorrow, you win the day the next 7 days. Guess what? You won the week. How do you win enough months? You win enough weeks. How do you win enough years? You win enough months. All of it reverses back to, did I win the day today? And so I would encourage you to come up with goals. I love big dreamers. I'm a big dreamer myself, but there's a difference in a goal and a standard. There's a ceiling and there's a floor. The goals, reach for the stars. You can accomplish it. Lauren said it beautifully. I'm living my dream. I'm living better than my dream was when I was a kid. If I wouldn't have dreamed big and had big goals, I would not be here. But I also wouldn't be here without the ceiling of the standards that it takes to get there. And so I think it's very important. It was the aha at this moment, at this event, that I'm a goals and commitments guy. I love it. But I think just having the ceiling that is way up here that you don't think you would ever break through is super important. Have that big vision, but you also need a floor that you don't fall below. And that's a standard. What is that standard for you in your life? And I think that's super crucial. You can relate to health, you can relate to fitness, you can relate to relationships, you can relate it to number of phone calls you need to make, number of role plays you need to take, number of events you need to attend, the trainings you need to learn. There's so many things you can develop standards around that are accomplishable for a long period of time. If you can't do it for a year, you don't need to do it for a day. Consistency and discipline of your standards wins.
That was so good. I think that was Mike Sherrard that talked about those, like whenever he says, commit for a lifetime or not at all. And then everyone just pauses, because it's like so many people go and make these, half-ass commitments, or they publicly declare things, but they're not willing to take the action or do anything to change their life. And then he also said, the secret of making progress is just getting started. But so many people want to perfect everything. They want to have every single dream written out. They want to have a plan in place that's 100% fail proof instead of just getting started and learning along the way.
That reminds me of a couple of things too that were mentioned at the event. As an example, real training doesn't happen in the classroom. Those people that are analytical overthinkers, I get it. I don't, but I understand you exist, right? I'm not that person. I will figure it out along the way. I'm one step at a time. Like I will figure it out as I walk the path. Some people need the path built and lit up before they take a step. I get it. There's different personalities for a reason. But if you're one of those that struggle with that overthinking, just think about a time in your life where, let's say as an example, let's use this as an example. If this relates to you, let's say you wanted to learn a new hobby. You wanted to build a new skill for yourself. You want to play the guitar. You want to play the piano. How are you going to learn how to play the guitar or piano? Is it by reading every book on how to play the guitar and piano? Or is it by actually pushing the keys on the piano and learning what sound it makes and what not to do and what to do? Action is where you learn. You don't learn in the classroom. You learn by applying that knowledge. The classroom provides you knowledge. It does not provide you education. There's a difference. Education happens through action. So you have to have the knowledge, but you have to build the education. You have to take the action. And so I think there's a rule. There's a rule of 20 hours. Let's use the piano example. You do want to become proficient at playing the piano. That's a goal for you. Let's say you want to be proficient at making phone calls and perfecting your scripts and dialogues, at working your CRM, at doing video content, at being a social media master, whatever it is that's important for you in your life or your business right now. Is it important enough where you're willing to dedicate 20 hours to developing that skill? That is what it takes as a normal human being to develop and become proficient in a new skill, is 20 hours of dedication. That's what it takes, period. But how many of us as real estate agents have actually invested 20 hours in becoming better at helping our clients, at perfecting our presentation, at perfecting our phone calls, at perfecting our scripts and our dialogues? Uninterrupted, on purpose, intentional, watching our game film, practicing in the mirror. 20 hours is what it takes to become proficient. Here's where it gets interesting. What if I told you I had the secret of how you can become better than 95% of the population in a skill? You give me any skill on the planet. Here's the proven blueprint. There aren't very many secrets in the world. Here's your secret to becoming better than 95% of the world of whatever it is you want to be great at. You have to dedicate 100 hours. The rule of 100 states that if you spend 18 minutes a day working on any skill, in a year's time, that will be 100 hours, and you will be better than 95% of the population at that skill. 18 minutes a day. How many people on this Zoom, how many people on this call have 18 minutes a day that they could dedicate to something that would help them change and propel their life? All of us can make that time. But we don't do it consistently. 100 hours sounds like daunting, right? Well, let's break that down into 18 minutes a day. If I told you spend 18 minutes a day developing a skill could change your life forever, we do it in a heartbeat. But we lose track, and there's a thing with human beings is sometimes we get in our own way. And we've won the day for 2 or 3 days and we've done the 18 minutes and then life happens. A fire happens, something gets in the way. And so we make an excuse and we procrastinate. Oh, we can do that tomorrow. That's not how the rule of 100 works. Every day. You can't make it up with 36 minutes tomorrow. 18 minutes today. It's your standard. Regardless. No making it up. No, I'm going to cram 100 hours the night before the test. That's not how you build actual true skills that will last a lifetime. Part of my talk that I gave to our team about in the six-figure mastermind is what's interesting about that is I call it a six-figure mastermind, but I asked the question, do you guys think all of this stuff that I'm talking about with skills would apply to a 7 or 8-figure mastermind too? 100% it does. Six-figure is the start, but it's all these skills compounded over time that you're getting better and better and better at that keep propelling you in life. And how many times though do we allow us not winning one day? We didn't win 2 days, and so now we just completely give up. That's why New Year's resolutions don't work. You're waiting for a new year to be a new you. The new year doesn't create a new you. What did Lauren start this with? Change comes from inside. Change is an internal job. You got to want it, and you got to hold those commitments and standards to yourself.
I think marking it off and tracking it too, just like, we did in 75 hard, is that, you miss one thing, then you're going to go back to day one. So you've got to have some way of tracking that to hold you accountable, whether it's with an accountability partner, whether it's on a board on your wall or whatever it is. You need some way to hold yourself accountable and to be honest about that, to not, oh, well, I did 17 minutes, not 18 minutes, but it'll be all right.
Yeah, that 44-minute workout doesn't count, right?
Yeah, I mean, just so many great points. I think another thing that I really liked about the Build event was just the all-together message about partnership. And, we talk about mindset, but equally who you surround yourself with to hold you accountable and who you're partnering with is just as important as the other things. And I think almost everyone, Jay Kinder, he had spoke about partnership. I'm trying to think of, Cliff Freeman. Cliff Freeman was the other one that really had some good key points about, some along the lines of we're in a tough market, and the tougher the times, the better people you'll need. And there's no way to survive a bad market with weak people. We all know that.
That's huge.
Oh, absolutely.
There is no way to survive a bad market when you're surrounded by weak people.
Yep.
That is massive. I'm writing that down.
But Clifford, I mean, just the partnership together. And again, that's why I love these rooms, is everyone's coming from a place of contribution, but everyone is your business partner in that room. And so how do you become stronger? You partner with the right people. Matt, I know one of your favorite takeaways, and we had all talked about this one night after dinner, was the message of the Clydesdale horses and how one of them alone can pull 8,000 pounds. But whenever you have two of them together.
Well, let's slow down a little bit. One Clydesdale pulling 8,000 pounds is a massive feat. 8,000 pounds is huge. They're the king of horses, a Clydesdale, right? Like 8,000 pounds, that's massive. Sorry, continue.
No, I probably need you to finish, because I just remember, I think it was like two of them could do like 40,000, 50,000.
No, so two of them, when you get two of them together, they pulled up. I think it was either double
24.
or triple.
I think it was 24,000.
Two of them together, it triples. So it's 24,000. Which is like, oh, we get two people rowing in the same direction. We get two people working on the same goal. We can triple our output. But then the third stat, what if those two are actually working in unison? They're on the same path with the same plan. They're learning the same things. They're doing the same things daily. They work together truly as a team. It adds even more pounds. It was 32,000. You get another 8,000 pounds out of the same two horses. So quit trying to go at this alone. This business is tough. This market is tough. You don't have to go out alone. Even if you are a Clydesdale, you can still only pull 8,000 pounds. You partner with us, we can pull 32,000 pounds together.
That's a great message, Lauren.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good job, Lauren.
No, teamwork. See, because I could only pull 8,000 pounds, but then Matt came and clutched the rest of the story.
There we go.
Another one of my favorite sayings that Cliff Freeman said was, and I think that everyone on this call is a high performer. And he had mentioned the only difference between a high maintenance and a high performance team is a culture of accountability, measuring, and ownership. And I think that's all three of those traits are so huge, and even more so whenever you're in a tough market. If you're not holding yourself and your peers accountable, if you're not measuring what needs to be measured and tracking your numbers, and if you don't have ownership over the things that you can change, it's not going to be good.
You'll be one of those, 60,000 that's already gotten out of the business this year?
Oh yeah, let's share that stat. I forgot about that one. I don't know if you guys had seen that or not, but those of you that are in attendance here, 66,000 agents have left the industry so far this year. That is one agent. What was it, every 3 minutes?
Sounds about right.
Yes, I don't remember that.
I think it was an insane amount. I'm paraphrasing, but it was less than 10 minutes. I know that. One agent left the industry less than every 10 minutes this year. It's tough. But you're a Clydesdale. You want to learn. That's why you're here. Maybe you just need some help with an alignment of other people. And that's what we're here to help you with. Speaking of help, let's go super tactical. There was coaches from the room that shared a lot of stuff. Lauren and I had some ahas together. Lauren is, for those who don't know, she's a sales manager for our Lake of the Ozarks office. And we looked at each other and kind of had the same thing on our mind. A coach that was talking about all his accolades, all these amazing things. And he was a great coach, had a lot of value to provide. What was an aha for us is that we have everything that he shared, and he broke down, here's what you get when you coach with me, his whole package. Lauren and I looked at each other and had the aha. Guess what? We have the exact same stuff in our organization. And guess what we do with partners is we share all of those things. We share those with our agents. We share those with our partners, and it doesn't cost anything to partner, right? And so it was an aha for me of the value we can actually provide to people is far above and greater than I actually realized. Because I've done those things. I've created some of those systems. I've worked through those systems. I've coached agents through those systems. Like, I've done all of that. Lauren has too. And so it's just normal to us until I was an observer at this event, and how it was being explained. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what agents need to be successful. That's the exact system. That's the exact blueprint. That's the exact, like, I was sold on it. And then after I was sold on it, I was like, wait a minute, we have that. And so it's just crazy how being in line with the right people can make all the difference in the world. One of the people that really spoke to me from the stage was Randy Bird. He's been a coach for years. Great dude. What does his shirt say? Half holy, half hood. Or something like that.
That means pray for me, don't play with me.
Yeah, pray for me, don't play with me.
That's what my cup says.
I love it. But he laid down the top six things that he's observed as a coach over the years that it takes to be successful. So if you want something tactical, here's your top 6. First and foremost, you got to be prepared. You have to be prepared. If you're not prepared, you're not going to be ready to succeed. You have to be prepared. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You have to have a plan. You got to be prepared. Number 2 is you have to reframe your mindset. Todd talked about it. I talked about it. I think we all 4 talked about it. Your mindset is everything. You have to be able to reframe and adjust your mindset. It's easy to talk about this deal that's fallen apart, this fire that happened, this buyer that mutual release, this seller that listed with someone else. But don't let that drag you down and ruin your entire day. Speaking of that, let me go. I'll come back to the 6, but I'm going to tell another story. Someone shared a story from the stages at this event, and it was very impactful for me. It was a great analogy. Let's say I'm driving in a car. I'm driving down the road and I get a flat tire. Well, I pull the car over and I have 2 options at that point. Do I get out and change the tire, or do I call AAA? That's option 1. Or do I get out and slash all 3 other tires? Which one do we choose? We change the tire.
Change tire.
Right? We always change the tire. It would be, why would you slash all 3 other tires? That makes no sense. But how many times do we let that one flat tire in our day, that one flat tire in our business, that one flat tire in our health, in our relationship, that one obstacle in our life let us ruin the entire day, the entire week, and then it's a negative momentum. Now we can't drive the car anywhere. Versus sometimes you got to drive your car with a spare tire for a little bit. Life happens, but you're still moving forward. So don't let that one tire ruin your entire life. Don't slash the other 3. All right. So number 1 is be prepared. Number 2 is reframe your mindset. Number 3, practice makes perfect. That was his saying. I'm going to change it because nobody's perfect. And I don't want you guys to have the wrong expectations. You're never going to be perfect. Practice makes permanent. When you practice enough, that skill set will never leave you. So practice makes permanent. Whatever you practice, go back to the law of 20 hours and 100 hours. Practice that skill enough. Now that skill set is something no one can ever take from you.
Hey, Matt, can I add on to that?
Yeah, please.
So the 4 of us sitting here, would you guys all agree that everybody that took the stage was highly successful?
100%.
Yep.
40 whatever speakers there were. And I think almost without fail, every single one of them mentioned script practice. Every single one of them talked about script practice and how important it was. That's exactly what Matt's talking about. And if those guys, success leaves clues, right? Those
Yes.
guys are doing it. They got to where they are because they did that type stuff. Shouldn't we all follow it too? Just a thought.
Yeah. Great observation. And I think what happens is we think, well, we don't need those scripts because we had success that one time, right? And we get off those scripts and dialogues. And so it's about always improving and being better. And think about it from this perspective. Let me flip the script a little bit. If you're someone that doesn't role play each and every day, you don't practice your craft, you don't practice your skill, does that mean that you don't practice? The answer is no. You're still practicing.
Practicing on your calls.
You're practicing on your clients. Those people that trust you with the biggest purchase or sale of their life, you are practicing on them. And I'm of the belief that they deserve better. Don't practice on your clients. Practice with your team. Practice with us. Practice with the mirror. Practice with recording and listening your calls. And that way, when you're ready to go in the game, what does a kicker do in a football game before he goes in? He's getting ready to kick the game-winning field goal. He's warming up on the sideline. You got to have your warm-up. You got to practice before you go in the game. Imagine a kicker going in there and not warming up before he kicks a game-winning field goal. Imagine a relief pitcher, a closing pitcher coming in to close out the World Series and he's not in the bullpen warming up. It would never happen. Yet we want to get paid at an elite level as real estate agents. We just don't want to do what the elite people do. Success leaves clues. Follow that path. 100%. Great point, Todd. Thank you for sharing. That was number 3 is practice makes permanent. Number 4, focus on the value that you offer. Todd talked about giving value. Focus on the value you provide. Focus on the problem you can solve. My secret to sales is I made it an equation. Sales equals solving problems. How can I build a relationship, build rapport so that I can find out what problem they have so that I can provide a solution and solve that problem? I have never, ever solved a problem for someone that it did not result in a sale. It did not result in a positive interaction. You want to make more sales, help more people, provide more value. Here's where salespeople go wrong. Sales is not about what you say, it's about what you ask. You were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Salespeople overtalk. You have to ask questions. Great salespeople ask great questions. And so if you're thinking, well, what value do I offer? Instead of focusing on the value you offer, which is important, first and foremost, what will be valuable to the client? And the only way you know that is asking great questions. So salespeople that are wondering, what should I say? A better question is, what should I ask? Because their perception of the phone call is everything. So are you asking great questions where they feel like they are interacting? They feel engaged in the conversation. Are you bringing them into the conversation, or are they building their sales skepticism wall? One of the two is happening. You have to engage them by asking great questions. So number 4 is focus on the value you offer. That it has to be in a value exchange in the relationship. Number 5, you want to be successful, you have to seek accountability and support. One of my coaches, my friends, my mentors, John Cheplack, says, you want to get paid like a pro athlete? What do pro athletes do? They run head on in accountability. They want more. You want to be a champion? So average people run away from accountability. Nope, not for me. They call it micromanagement. They call it, oh, that person just wants to force me to do something. But if you want to be elite, you want to be great, you have to run towards accountability. You have to embrace it. You have to want more of it in your life. And number 6 is use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How many times do we overreact? How many times do we blow up? How many times do we make emotional decisions in this business? How many times do we let our emotions dictate our outcomes? It's a simple exercise. Anytime that you feel in a highly emotional state, just count out loud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Instantly, that escalated state gets dropped down. I implemented I have at least a 5-minute rule. If I get, because I get very heated sometimes. I'm very passionate about what I do. Lauren's laughing because she knows. And so I set a timer literally on my phone for 5 minutes. And I forget about the issue. I move on. I go take a break. I do. And 5 minutes later, if I still feel as passionately about it, then it's worth me doing that action that I wanted to do. But most of the time, 99% of the time, I've calmed down. I realized I was in a highly emotional state and I made a decision. It would have been a mistake that I made because I made it from a highly emotional state.
And
great
on that,
Oh,
go ahead, Gina. No, you're good. Go ahead.
A great book on that is the 5-second rule with Mel Robbins. If you haven't read that too.
That's what I was just gonna say was, yeah, and she has great exercises. This is not just for real estate, but it applies to anything in your life that you do not feel like doing. It's very similar to, I don't like to cuss, but who is it? Maybe Andy Frisella in the 75 Hard Book that talks about that little bitch voice in your head. In order to counteract that, you have to take action. And so do the 5-second rule, deep breaths, and go do whatever you don't want to do. And 99.9% of the time, you have no regret with moving forward. You're very proud of yourself, and you overcame that small voice in your head that says, don't do this, don't do this. Just lay back in bed or don't make the phone calls. That's exactly when you need to take action.
I love it. I've been talking a lot. Who else would like to chime in? What other takeaways do you guys have? I've got more, but I want to give you guys an opportunity.
I think something, we had talked about the action items, and part of Randy Bird's had talked about the call reluctance. As far as being prepared, reframing your mindset. But I think something that would be helpful to everyone on this call is Bill, I think it was Bill Pipes, had hit on 2 things. So one, it's never the market, it's always us. If we use the excuse that our business isn't where we want it to be because of the market, we will never get better and achieve our goals. We always have to take a look in the mirror and see what the real problem is. I know something that we've had some conversations with is we've made a playbook to selling 20 homes. And if you follow these simple, not that they're easy, but they're simple steps to sell 20 homes a year, you will do more business than what you could have ever imagined. But the truth is that people will use the excuses. And I think that there's another quote in here that I wanted to reference, but people, that's what it was. Both the beauty and the tragedy of life is that you have 2 options. You can choose to succeed or you can choose to fail. It's one decision, the rest follows.
And I think it's important that it's a choice. Both of those are a choice, success or failure. It's a choice.
Absolutely. You can choose to role play for 30 minutes a day. You can choose to prospect for 1 to 3 hours a day. You can choose to host open houses. You can choose to grind it out for a year to live a life better than what you've ever imagined, or you can choose not to. But
I
Bill Pipes,
want to dive into your story a little bit and share that. That just reminds me, like, you lived that. I remember. How many houses did you sell last month, Lauren, for context?
15.
15 closings last month, for context, okay? You think is she telling you theory or proven? This is proven stuff. Lauren, your first year, tell us a little bit about your journey. How many phone calls did you make on an average day, and what did your day look like?
Well, whenever I first started with the team, I had a full-time job. So I would do real estate from 7 to 3. And then I would do my full-time job from 3 to 11 after that. And I had a newborn baby and a 9-year-old son at the time. But my calls were probably, I don't know, 40 to 60 a day, reaching out to anybody and everybody I could. And I did role play every single day, read scripts, jumped on. Adam Bailey used to have a live prospecting session. I would jump on that. And if I was not at my second job or not doing things that I had to do with my kids, I was working real estate, building my business.
And so I wanted to share that quickly because this is not, it's not a, hey, we're sitting up here preaching, you need to do more activities. We've lived it. You want to build those skills, you want to get better on the phones? Give me 20 hours of dedicated. I'm going to be my best version of me on the phones. I'm going to be my best at my presentation. I'm going to be my best at when I'm presenting an offer. 20 hours. That's to be proficient. But how many agents expect they attended one course, they do it one time, and it's the buyer's fault. It's the seller's fault. Oh, they're not interested in buying. Let me tell you, you get someone like Lauren on the phone, they'll buy with her, they'll list with her. So is it the lead's fault, or is it a lack of skill set and effort on our fault? I think we got to look in the mirror and realize as agents, we have to be better. And I really think that this market shift and adjustment is a huge opportunity. That's how I'm choosing to look at it, because it's happening. We can't stop it, right? I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it tomorrow. Let's go. Because opportunity. Because how many people are actually willing to change and do the activities they know they need to do? How many people are willing to look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem? If you're willing to do that, you know what changes in your life? Freaking everything. Because you are the problem. That also means, by definition, you are also the solution. If you become better, your circumstances become better. Your life becomes better. Your results become better. So quit pointing the finger and saying, I'm not selling the number of houses I want because of the market, because of the interest rates. It's maybe because you are not doing the work that you know you need to do. And maybe, let's go back to call reluctance. I think Randy Bird had a great analogy here that I'm going to use in some of my coaching. And so this is my first iteration of it. But a lot of people are scared of making the call because they're not prepared, because they don't know what to say, because they have fear of rejection. All of those are real, and I'm not discounting any of those. But that is a part of the process, and that is never going to disappear. So the more prepared you are, the better results you are going to get. And the better results you get, the more confidence you gain in yourself, and it makes that next phone call a little bit easier. If you don't believe me, all of you have had a phone call that went better than you expected. Let's replay that phone call. It went better than you expected. How was the rest of your day after that phone call? Living high on the hog. Nothing could ruin your day. Like, wow, look at that. That was amazing. Now, let's talk about a phone call where you were excited. You were looking forward to it. And then afterwards, you hung your head. You're like, wow, that was not what I expected. I had a mutual release. They listed with someone else. They decided not to sell. They no longer want to buy the house. Whatever the situation could have been. It was a bad phone call. How was the rest of your day then?
Crappy.
But what if you can have the skill set that you control the outcome by the skill set that you have in the conversation? Is it perfect? No. But you can have a better result more often than not if you are a better skill set. You're calling the right people. You have the right scripting. You have the right call cadence. And if you're lacking those systems, if you're lacking who to call, what to say, you don't know how to generate leads, you don't know any of that, reach out to us. I promise you have the playbook to do so. That's what we're here to do, is help. But I think the best help that you can get is realize that if those things are missing, awesome. The first step is admitting that they're missing and reach out for help. We're here to help you. I'm here to tell you, I will help you. Reach out. But if you don't reach out, I can't help. If you don't look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem, I can't help you find the solution. But if you're willing to do those two things, whatever you visualize yourself accomplishing in this business is absolutely possible. And you could be the one on the stage in one of these events that we're talking about. You have that power, but it's up to the choices that you make.
So Brent was saying on a call that he did last night, they're going to break this build out into 11 different locations next year.
Wow.
So that people can actually drive to them. They're going to be cheaper to go. He's hoping for less than $200, but can't guarantee that until they get the exact figures on what the facilities are going to cost, so that more people can go. So they're going to need 240, I think it was, speakers. So do you want to be one of those speakers?
I do. I'm declaring it right now.
Let me just say, no one here on this Zoom besides Matt is a professional speaker.
I'm not a professional. I stayed at a Motel 6.
It's a great diet plan for me.
Oh, that's too funny. That's awesome though. I love that, the goal is to reach more people, to just be more influence, and it's possible for anybody.
Yeah, so they'll have 3 on the East Coast, I think 3 on the West Coast, 2 in Canada, Hawaii, Detroit, and Dallas, I think is where they were.
What about Missouri?
Nope, sorry. You have to go to Detroit, Dallas.
That's it. I'm calling Brent right now.
Or you can come to Orlando. We're going to have one in Orlando.
That's cool. But something I think that would be kind of jumping back to Bill Pipes is takeaway action items for people and mindsets. Something Bill hit on was the 9 traits of a 7-figure earner. So for those of you who were not able to attend, Bill or Coach had listed 9 things. So
That's weird to call him Bill because he's our coach, right?
I know, I'm like, oh, it's so weird. But Coach Pipes had given us 9 traits of 7-figure earners. And again, this does not just apply to if you want to be a 7-figure earner, apply it to if you want to be an 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-figure earner. It's possible. It's all possible. But the first was they have a high level of competitiveness and a desire to win. They have undeveloped world-class skills. They maintain unwavering standards. So how Mike Sherrard had hit on, you don't achieve your goals, you achieve your standards.
Funny how Matt touched on that, didn't he?
Do what?
Funny how Matt's already touched on the standards, right?
Yeah, 100%. All comes full circle. They are highly strategic in 3 to 4 key lead sources, whether that's your past clients, whether that's your sphere of influence, open houses, buying Google pay-per-click, Zillow leads, 3 to 4 key lead sources.
I want to speak on that. And I think the 3 to 4 is crucial. So I'm privileged to be a coach for some top teams throughout the country. Agents reach out to me all the time, and please continue to do so because I love helping. It's really my passion. So please continue to reach out. But when you reach out, don't ask the worst question that I get asked. What's the best lead source? I don't know. What's your skill set? What's your market? What leads do you have? What's your follow-up? I can't answer that, right? So there is no magic lead source. But what Lauren is saying, what Coach Pipes is saying, if you want to become a 7-figure earner, you need 3 to 4 that you have mastered, that you are great at. You know how to convert. You know what to say. You know when to say it. You know what the cadence is. You know how to follow up. You quit trying to get leads from everywhere and make sure the ones that you are getting, you have, instead of trying to get more, instead of trying to pay for more, how about you work on getting more out of what you already have? And I think that's what that says with lead sources. It's not always more leads. Is the goal of the real estate agents to get more leads, or is it to get more closings? So what if you could spend less money and get more closings? That's the game I'm in. I want less leads and more closings. That's scalable. That's less phone calls. That's less work. That's less effort, right? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's a great point because we see it across multiple teams where they have that curse of abundance and you have so many leads coming in. It's like, well, crap, I don't know how to manage all of these plates. But with that 3 to 4 stools, Coach had hit on it at Sales Mastery, is it's so important. You think about a bar stool at a kitchen table. Is it sturdy if it has 1 leg? Is it sturdy if it has 2 legs, or is it the most sturdy when it has 3 to 4 legs? And so that's the illustration he gave for it. But the lead sources, and we've heard it time and time again, the lead sources that are the best are the ones that you properly work. The next, number 5 was 7-figure earners. They track and monitor everything in their business, their profit loss, their systems, their processes, their CRM. They track and monitor all of it. And feel free, guys, to add any golden nuggets.
If you want to improve it, you better measure it. You can't, that does not get measured, does not get improved.
Yep. They execute quickly and minimize the gap. And I think that this is one of Matt's strengths as a leader, is his timeliness to execute anything and everything. So Matt, I don't know if you want to hit on that.
Yeah, it drives everyone that is around me crazy. Real life example happened today. Speed to execution is everything. I had a conversation with one of our lender partners. They were telling a story. We were talking about interest rates and how we're working buyers through this tough market. And he told me a story that he had told to someone. It was hearsay from someone else that he had heard in his office, and he wanted to share with me if it would be helpful for our agents. I'm like, absolutely, I love it. I kicked him out of my office. I grabbed this little big tripod. I set up my phone right here, and I recorded 2 videos. They're in editing right now that will be posted today. Speed to execution. I could have said, well, let me see where I can fit it in my schedule. Let me do this. And I promise you my schedule will drive you absolutely ballistic like it does me. But it took 3 minutes. I came out and the lender was in our office and I was talking to another agent and he said, hey, what you doing for lunch? I said, well, I just got done recording that video. I got lunch in here. He's like, you recorded a video? I'm like, yeah, man, what we just talked about, I just recorded it. He's like, how? I just left. But it's speed execution. Speed execution is everything. I think that reminds me of something. I went to a small high school and my graduating class had 30 kids in it, just as a reference. And I remember I learned a lot in high school, but I remember one of the things that were painted on the wall said, knowledge is power. Said knowledge is power. I could not disagree more. Knowledge is useless without the implementation of that knowledge. You have to execute. Action wins. Just knowing something and not doing anything about it is worthless. So you have to make sure that you need to intake. If you're watching this, I applaud you. You're learning. You are here to improve yourself. I love it. I'm a lifelong learner myself. But you have to take action with what you learn. Otherwise, it's useless.
Yeah, and same things with these events that we go to. One of Brent's favorite quotes that he puts, well, it's my favorite of his, but it's how many success stories do you have to hear before you make your own? And so many times people leave these events. One of the questions that they asked on the first day was, who's been to Build or an EXP Con before? People raise their hand. Who learned something and did nothing with it? And you wouldn't believe how many hands went up in the air. And so something that is very true is called the law of diminishing intent. And the longer it takes you to do something that you intend to do, the less likely you are to do it. So anytime that you have the opportunity to execute and implement something, the better. The longer you wait, the less likely you are to do it. Okay, number 8. So they only associate with other winners, believers, and badasses. And to me, this is one of the most important things. And it's we've actually have come across multiple videos now that show the statistics behind surrounding yourself with high performers and winners. I don't know if you have that video handy, Matt, but I'll go ahead and share the stats. If you surround yourself with someone if you sit within 25 feet of a high performer, your business will increase by 15%. So let
me add to it. So if you're in a workplace environment, you come into work each and every day and you are within 25 feet daily of people that perform at a very high level. Go ahead. Sorry. I wanted to add clarity.
Okay,
it's not just like you just pass by them once and you magically get it, right? It's consistently daily working alongside them.
Yeah. As much as it would be nice to like get that instant, oh, I'm gonna make more money. It's no. But if you sit within 25 feet of someone every single day, your business will increase by 15%. So if you normally make $100,000, you are going to then make $115,000. Now, on the flip side of it, if you sit within 25 feet of a low performer, every single day, your business will drop by 15%. So if you take 115, it'll drop to 85. So really it drops by 30% by sitting by a low performer. So your $100,000 delta is now $85,000. And that's just by sitting next to them. That's not, being trained by them. That's just simply being in the atmosphere and in the same environment as a low performer, what that does to you.
Now imagine being in partnership with amazing people like the people on this call. What could that do for your business? I know what it's done for mine. It's absolutely propelled it to be, what are we ranked now? Number 57 in the nation out of mega teams.
Yeah.
And none of it's possible without the partnership and alignment. We're number one in our area year after year after year, doubled our business year after year after year. We're on pace for 900 transactions this year. And it's all because of who we surrounded ourselves with.
And I was meeting with one of the agents in the Lake office this morning. I was sharing with him like how proud I was that we do a leaderboard every single week of top conversations, and the 3 top people are out of the Lake of the Ozarks office. And a light bulb clicked for me this morning. No wonder why. They're all sitting within 25 feet of each other. And they're all at the top of the leaderboard.
Love it.
And then number 9, which I keep saying all of these are so important. No, but seriously, this one, you guys write this down. Number 9 is they invest in themselves.
Love it. Well, I've got to wrap this up. I've got something I want to say to wrap it up with. Lauren, thank you so much. It's crucial. And what I will do, I'm going to put together the top 6 I gave and the top 9 Lauren gave. I'm going to put together a document and I'll send it out with a replay. So if you guys are watching this, you want a copy of it, reach out to whoever invited you this video, reach out to me. I'm happy to share that with you. But does anyone have anything else they would like to share? Closing thoughts before I kind of close this out?
Nope, go for it, Matt.
Go for it.
I was going to add one thing. I can't remember who this tacks on to, but Jeb Blount said this. He talked about the rain barrel mentality, and where you're just sitting there waiting for the rain to fill up the barrel, kind of like us, waiting for people to call us because they want to buy a house or sell a house. Or are you the rainmaker mentality and you're going out there and making things happen and getting in action? I can't remember who talked about something like that, but that made me think of that.
I love it.
Yeah, I forgot about that
Fill
one.
your own barrel, right? Don't wait for it to fill it up yourself. I love it. So Lauren, you hit on one of those things, and I think a constant theme in what we felt by being in the room was, I think that our potential raised by being around those top performers. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes.
And so going to Lauren's stat of improving by being around elite people, you become better. Proximity is power. And so if you're watching this replay, you're watching it live, and you want to surround yourself around more top performers, more elite people, you relate to anyone here, the messages that they shared, and you want to be around something with top performers, please reach out to us. Let us know. We are looking for people who are looking for us. We have partnership opportunities. We have coaching opportunities. We have free resources. This is not to sell you anything. This is to provide a life-changing opportunity. The people that invited us into this amazing opportunity has absolutely transformed our lives forever. And we want to do the same for you. So if this speaks to you, if you want to be around like-minded people, you want to be around top performers, reach out to whoever invited you here. And we're happy to have a discussion to see how we can help and serve you.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Awesome.
Great job. And Todd and Gina, it was so good to get to know you guys better in Texas. And we had an absolute blast. My cheeks still hurt from laughing.
And never ride in an Uber with Gina because she likes to offend the Uber drivers.
He had an accent. Sorry.
He did not. It wasn't an accent. All right, we'll leave on that. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Have a great day.